The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of bad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast coming to you, recording this Sunday, August 31st, 2025. It is the last day of August. Oh my gosh, we're now entering close to the fall. I am extremely exhausted, as you can tell. And of course, you know why. Hold on one quick second on my screen. There's something to show on my screen I want to be shown. It's my closet here. I don't like to see my clothes in my closet like that. Let me adjust the speaker. There we go. Just the camera here. All right. So just got back from New York yesterday. Saturday evening. I'm exhausted. We did a lot. We crammed a lot in 4 days. This is a special episode for the Monday show for Labor Day. Dropping this on Monday, Labor Day at midnight. But the reason for recording this today, because Mondays I can't really record, and we're gonna try, as we said on the show last week, to do a Monday rule of content. It's this show, of course, our main shows, False Not Anywhere, the rest of Retrospective, whatever. We're going to try to keep a full of content coming to the feed Monday through Friday, occasionally on weekends, depending how I feel and what's out there. But anyway, so I'm exhausted. We just got back from New York yesterday. And I was originally going to do just a segment on this show, but I really wanted to talk about the trip itself as own episode. So, but it was a very, very, very trip. It was an exhausting trip. We had an itinerary of things planned ahead of time, things we wanted to do. So we got most of it done. Some things we had on the schedule that we did not get to because some things overlapped and some things were, we got a little tired, we needed some rest. But for the most part, it was a very successful trip. I'm in a lot of pain though. I think my rotator cuff on my right side is killing me right now. I can barely lift my arm right now. And I don't know why, because I wasn't holding much. I mean, I held a couple of bags for my wife here and there, but it wasn't nothing to the point where it should be hurting my arms. I don't know why. But, so, give you guys a little diary. And by the way, if you do follow me on Instagram, especially too, and on Facebook, with photography, if I do events, for example, and I may elaborate on this more in the future, like doing more diary things through photos. I did a day-to-day diary on Instagram, especially too, and on Facebook. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and did like 20 pictures of a daily diary of that. It was really, really cool. So Wednesday morning, we got we were tired from our go because we got no sleep. I stayed awake the entire night, Tuesday night, packing and cleaning the house. First off, before we get to the trip itself, I have to shout out a few people for helping us make this possible. The original plan, as you guys knew, was to have the kids go to my sister's for a few days. And we had to do a plan B because of some personal issues. I don't want to get to that necessarily. Nothing bad. Well, nothing. Obviously, things came up last minute. We had to change course. We had a plan B, but the plan B was a lot more much more it was different. It wasn't one. Basically, the kids had to stay at different places throughout the week. Those days were gone, so I had to ask multiple people. So my friends Tiffany and Jason, Misty, Donnie, and of course my brother and my sister-in-law Tarek and Maurice for stepping up and taking care of the kids. My kids stayed at my Tiffany and Jason's house for Wednesday. She got from school. So they stayed all Wednesday and half of Thursday as well. And then my friend, Tiffany dropped off to my friend Missy's house, and she watched them from Thursday night. Dropped off to our friend Donnie's house on Friday morning. That's actually also her. They still get along for the record. He stayed there. They stayed there for half a day there, and then they went back to Missy's house on Friday night. And stayed overnight. And then Saturday morning, she took him to actually my friend Donnie took him to my brother and my sister-in-law's house on Saturday morning, and they stayed there until we landed Saturday evening. Everything went smooth there, from what I was told. So thank you to all you guys for stepping in for us and making this a very memorable trip for us, because we could not have done this without you guys, because our kids did not go on this trip. And also a shout out to my friend Stephanie Schmergel. She stepped in and watched our cats. She came by the house and watched the cats. She has her own service or business. You guys highly recommended by me. She does a great job of taking care of cats and dogs and whatnot when we're away. Dog walker also as well. She's fantastic. So she did a great job for 3 days while we were gone as well too. So Wednesday morning we woke up. Well, we barely got any sleep. We went to bed at 4:00 in the morning. I'll fetch at 11 o'clock, but we still took our kids to school Wednesday morning, and that was very emotional for my wife, especially too, because she actually considered bowing out on a trip because she didn't want to leave the kids alone. She felt that the kids it was a lot to take on for people to take care of the kids while we're gone, to do all that. Basically, long story short, the kids pretty much lived out a suitcase for 3 days, 4 days rather. But again, it went smooth. But she didn't want to do that. But we already put so much money into this trip as it was, between tickets for the concert, the hotel, all the money we had saved for the trip, and things we already invested into the trip. We already invested a lot of money into this trip as it was anyway months ago. That we had to do this. We just had to make this work. I mean, like I said, luckily our friends stepped up. So Wednesday morning, we took the kids to school. A little emotional. We said goodbye. They were fine. The kids were great. They were fine. Went back home, grabbed our bags, picked up my fat Matt, who went to the trip with us too as well, and dropped off my car at my day job, which is located right across the street from the airport. Dropped the car off, and they kept the car there until we got back. And then my friend Jason took us to the airport, and we flew out 11 o'clock in the morning. Our friends Lauren and Fed came in about 10:30. They came a little late. They did came in, and we flew out to New York, landed early about 1:30. And I tell you, if you've never been in New York before, it is definitely a culture shock. It's definitely a culture shock. And we basically landed in New York. We went straight to hotels. We was checking at 3 o'clock. We got there right at 3 o'clock. And then our first plans were actually to go to a ramen place called Ichiran. I'm not a big ramen guy personally. I already said to also that I was probably gonna grab a pizza on the side of the street, and you guys get the ramen. But then that's decide. You know what? The idea of this trip is to try new things and be more open to things. So I went. I got the ramen. It was actually really, really good. Again, for the record, New York is very pricey, so easy to go broke there. So everything was overpriced, but it was really, really good. So we went to the ramen place a little while, about half an hour to an hour. Went back to the hotel, changed clothes, and then we got plans on going to Broadway to see the Book of Mormon on Broadway. But first, before we did that, we went to the Starbucks Reserve nearby, got ourselves a Danish, and I got a hot chocolate. My wife got coffee and some Danish as well, too. That was great. And then we went to the Edward O'Neill Theater, I think it's called. The O'Neill Theater. And guys, let me tell you something right now. The Book of Mormon is definitely top 3 hottest this trip. If you haven't seen that play, please do. Now you might get somewhat offended because it is a very not say raunchy, but it's very vulgar, and it's a comedy. I mean, it's written by Mike Judge, first off, of Office Space fame and Beavis and Butthead and all that. But it was a very well done play. I had a fantastic time. I couldn't stop laughing. I was engaged, and I gotta tell you guys, man, I think I'm a Broadway guy. I think, between seeing MJ musical earlier this year and really, it's funny. I've always liked musicals to some degree. Although I never call myself someone that went on my way to watch musicals, of course. But yeah, a lot of my favorite movies growing up, like Wizard of Oz and Annie, were musicals. And as I got older, I've come to a place where I really appreciate musicals now. This one's one of the best I've ever seen. Like I said, very raunchy, whatnot, but we had a great time there. Did that, and then we went to, I don't remember the name of the place we went to, but it was next to near Times Square. We went to a Chinese American high end restaurant for dinner about 11 o'clock at night, which served some fantastic food. Great food. I got the chicken fried rice. Well, we ended up getting like a la carte. And it was great. We had barbecue ribs, but it was Chinese style and all that. It was great. Had a great time, great company. Of course, I think after that, I think we went home. See, this is the thing. We did so much shit on this trip that some of the little things we did gets forgotten. I think we did go home after this. But that's a hotel. Stayed in a hotel. I passed out. I was very exhausted because number one, I wasn't already rested from being home in Florida preparing for the trip, so I had no sleep as it was, and I barely slept on the plane as it was. So on a Thursday, wake up Thursday morning, we go to Cat's Deli via Subway. And by the way, for the record, as I said before, I know I'm skipping some things here. This trip was emotional for my wife because this is her first time ever in New York, and this is like her number one bucket list in the world is to go to New York City. This is where her dad was born, Brooklyn, like me. So there's a lot of personal things here for her to that she wanted to see and to achieve here, and she did it. So she cried that first day. She cried a lot. She was just tearing up and crying, and it was very emotional. Like, as I told you, I wanted to see her face, and as I thought she would be very emotional with this trip. Anyway, back to Thursday. Thursday, wake up. We go to Cat's Deli in the morning. However, this is something cool that happened. So this trip was booked initially as a big group trip with like 8 people. My friend Patrick, who was a coworker and friend, was the one who had the idea of doing this trip in the first place as far back as late last year. He tells me about 3 weeks ago at work that he can't make this trip last minute because his mom had to go to another show or something, she had another engagement somewhere that prevented her from doing this trip. So he was out on the trip. Except we'll walk up to Cat's Deli, and there's a video footage of this stuff too also, of him walking out the store. And there he is. And I'm thinking I'm seeing a ghost. Something like Patrick, and it's Pat. So I was like, holy shit, you made it. Everyone was on this, apparently, played a prank on me on this one, where Patrick was there, and he did show up to the show, because the whole point of him was going to the concert as well, too. Gave him a big hug, of course, hung out for all day. Went to Cat's Deli, had a bagel. My wife got the pastrami on rye. She loved it. I had a piece of pastrami. It was really, really good. Had a great time there. We saw the spot also, too, where when Harry met Sally, the orgasm... It was the orgasm scene in that movie where Meg Ryan pretends to have an orgasm in the middle of the store. We saw that spot where that happened. And then after that, I think we went to Mercer's Lab. So that's somewhere near the World Trade Center. It was very expensive, but it was a great experience, actually. A light show in there was really, really good. I had a great time there. Again, another really a thing I wouldn't have done had it been for my friends tongues ago. We did go overpriced, yes, but at the same time, a great experience. And that's the whole point of this trip, was to experience things we haven't done before. And then after that, our other friends down here, my friend Teddy and his wife Jen, they were coming also down here for the concert as well too. They had flown in the night before. We were supposed to be in the night before that, but things didn't work out because of they got in too late and all this stuff. well, anyway, we had made plans with them to go to Chinatown. Um, that that Thursday. So we met them in Chinatown about 2 o'clock ish, 1 ish, whatever. Hung out there. We got a couple went to this on the road. Got this amazing $6 dish of roasted pork and chicken with white rice. Phenomenal plate, a bowl, want to call that. Ate that up. We went to a couple other places in Chinatown a little bit, and then we parted ways around that time, around 4 o'clock, because we went to the hotel and get ready for the concert. Went to the concert, went a little late. We got there like probably at 7:30, and Korn was already playing that. The second headliner, Korn, was already playing. But we were there. I mean, I want to see Korn again because I've seen Korn now 4 times. And I wanted to see the entire set, but we got a little late because of traffic. We got to see all System of a Down set. That was a great time. They were phenomenal. Like I said, the night was beautiful. MetLife Stadium. I also didn't realize how close MetLife is to the city. Like, it's really only a 20 to 30-minute drive from the city. Like, everything is so interlinked. I thought like MetLife was like far away, like maybe another hour from the city. No, and it's only that long because of traffic. Honestly, only because of traffic. But it was a gorgeous night. My wife and I had a great time. The weather was nice. It was crispy. Like, it was actually in like the mid to low 60s actually. So you felt like a little breeze coming to the stadium during the show. And System that was fantastic. Not that I had a low bar for them in terms of being a live band, but they more than superseded my expectations of what I expected from them to perform. We prioritized this trip because, number one, I had never seen them before live. Okay. And number two, they're not technically together right now. So they only do like 6 shows total this year, I believe. 2 in New York, Jersey rather, 2 in Jersey, 2 in Chicago, I think 2 in Canada. So this is a big opportunity to go see a band I've never seen before, but certainly is a bucket list band, and I did that, checked off. So, but they sounded fantastic. I came to new respect for Darren, the guitar player. One of my complaints about System Down for years is that their last album, Mesmerize, Hypnotize, vocally, like, Darren took on, I think, almost half of the vocal parts of the band in comparison to Surge, and I didn't like that. Not that I didn't like Darren as a singer, but Surge is the reason why I'm a fan of the band in the first place. Like, his voice is unique, and unless a Surge you have on records, on songs, it takes away why I love the band. I love the band. However, Darren live is great. Darren live is. I think that came to a Newfound show. So after the show, we remember this here. Leave the show together. We go up in front of the stadium. We leave the show. Yeah, that's right. We leave the show. We pizza recommended by my friend Mario. Joe's Pizza on Broadway. We went there. Got there about 12 night, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was a line around the store, even at m. But having it so worth it. It was so pizza was great. We I ended up getting like 3 slices. Ate it all there in one spot. To back to hotels rather. To go rest. And I was exhausted. I was bloated and exhausted and all that. But again, having a good time. And I said, I don't eat like this normally. I don't eat late in the morning. I don't eat like this normally. I fast a lot. This trip I didn't do that. This trip I just ate to my heart's content. Didn't care. And I felt it. I felt very inflamed also. Friday morning, we wake up in the morning. We go to breakfast. I don't remember where we went to breakfast at. I forgot. Again, so much shit happened on Friday. I think no. Actually, we went to a place near Koreatown. Actually, which is great stop. Went there. It's in Koreatown. Made a couple stops in some size stores here, and then one of my highlights of the trip. But first off, from my wife first, we went to the drama bookshop across town of Hamilton fame. My wife, we had made a point um, to make that happen, and we bought a couple books there, a couple things there. The store was great customer service. And okay, that was good. That was cool. So which is highly recommended by many people in the city. And I didn't have any intentions of buying anything there at first, but then I saw vinyl section downstairs. That vinyl's all over the place, but I like finding vinyls for me that are not overpriced, not reissues. I try to find vinyls that are say they were released around the same time that project or album came out. And there were a lot of like this big section back downstairs. It's like all $2. Yeah, most of the vinyls are in the $2 section. And you are patient enough, you might find some quality things there. And I did. I found some quality vinyls there in the 2 section. For example, I found a soundtrack, okay, which is a phenomenal sound. I also found what else did I find there on that first day? I'm paying for that. I got happy through it's a quarter through the section of the vinyl, and then my wife said we got to go. We got to meet friends up at the Met in an hour. So I said, you know what, can we return tomorrow? So we ended up coming back the next day. So I got the vinyls I found with the intention to come back the next day and buying more. Digging through some more crate digging so you can find more stuff. Met our friends had already been in the Met for about an hour or two and about to leave. Like, you know what? Do you want to go through the Met again? Just you know what? Trip through the Met and we're way ahead of us and they have plans to go somewhere else and within the hour. Next time come to New York. We ended up using that time to go walk through Central Park. And which was gorgeous too. Gorgeous day. And that took us to where we go out to the park. I forgot. See, this is the problem being old. Just forgetting shit. I'm ready to forget it. I did on that Friday. Central Park to go somewhere else. I forgot where we went to. I forgot. Say it again. Again, so much to plan. But anyway, we went out. Oh yeah, Central Park. I'm going to early. But we ended up going there, and I actually enjoyed it. Again, experiences. We went there. I got the French onion burger, which comes in it's a nice patty that comes in a English muffin with French onion, soup and onions and all that stuff. It's really, really good. I was really impressed with it. I really shocked myself. Paul, don't tell mama. Stay about an hour. Got a beer. It's fun. Spill my beer right away. Put it by the way. You can find that picture on my Instagram, my social media. And then we end up going up to Rockefeller Center and walking around there. Went to the NBC studios, and then our friends we hadn't seen the entire day had said they'll meet us out there, and meeting us out there later on. We spent up the entire night having a good time, walk around the entire city. Ended up going back to Joe's Pizza again for a second time because it was that good. And then we stayed out till 2-3 in the morning, and then came home again exhausted. My eyes were everybody thought was high. I did get high on Thursday. I was high. I was exhausted. I was just tired. But again, I'm okay with walking around because I do it all the time. Got home at 3 in the morning, packed our stuff up, went to sleep, woke up next morning, left the hotel, left the luggage there though at the hotel, ended up going to Koreatown quickly, met up with our friend Matt and his buddy Nathan came to hang out with us a little bit. Then we went to Brooklyn Bagels and Coffee up the street from our hotel. Phenomenal place, great bagels, of course. Only regrets I didn't get an egg sandwich, opposed to just getting a same raisin bagel. Then town real quick for my wife to pick up something. Some gifts she wanted for some of her friends. And then we went back to the record store. to do more crate digging. Now, my sister, who couldn't watch the kids, one of the reasons why she couldn't watch the kids either too last minute was because her oldest son, Caden, is in college now, and they were taking him back to college during the time we were away. So he goes to NYU. However, NYU is really across the street from the record store. Okay, so they're in the area already anyway. So they met us at that. They came and ended up meeting us at the record store. I was doing the crate digging. Didn't get to touch on much because I was so focused on finding records and stuff. And I found 4 more records I ended up buying as well too. But yeah, we hung up a little bit. They left. We left here at the store at about 1:30 ish. Went to Washington Square Minutes to see what's going on there. Then took the cab back to our hotels to grab our bags, and then we were off to the airport, and then we came back home pretty much at 7 o'clock yesterday. The trip was great time. Again, being in New York and I wish I had 2 things I wish I would have done differently. Number one, I regret one thing with my wife, that I did not slow. I walk so much. I love walking and power walking, that a lot of times I wouldn't even realize I was walking ahead of my wife, and then she would be way behind me. And I feel bad about that. I wish I had been a little more cognizant of that. She a couple times told me that you need to slow down, And even when I would walk, I'd be so like enamored and taking pictures and what's going on around me that I would leave her behind to work on that in the future. But also, I wish, I think, we had, what was I regret? Like, I love taking taxis, I'm taking Ubers, but we could save a lot more money by taking the subway more. Because by the time I got into the city, because look, I'm born in New York, but I'm so much old. So, I remember some things. I'm not as, clued in, or everything goes on in New York anymore. So it wasn't until like day 3 I started realizing like where how to get through the city in the train. I gotta save a lot more money by doing that as opposed to just getting a taxi and Uber over and over again. Because right now, living in New York, you can go broke easy living there. Not forget the fact of lifestyle, but just by travel. Like, you don't need a car, but you pay a lot of money. You pay a pretty penny on Ubers and taxis. So that's why I like walking. And plus it's exercise and whatnot. New York is a young man's town, a young person's town, rather. Not as young man, young person's town. Because I couldn't, as much as I love New York, I could never live there. Now, I'll visit all the time. I told the wife that I'd like to go there at least once a year going forward, because there's always something to do. And I have reasons to go to New York. I can go to Mets games, Giants games, Rangers games, or hockey. So I can find something. I can find reasons to go to New York easily. Find reasons to go to New York. That's not a problem for me. Excuse me. No, I don't think anything else too. I ended up getting not sick, but I ended up getting allergies my first day there. So my nose is kind of stuffy. I'm still feeling it now. But outside of that, man, it was a great trip, and I thought, We got what we wanted to get done for the most part. Some things left on the table, but that's good. We'll go back and do it again. My wife's going back in March actually, go see another Broadway play with her friend. I won't be on this trip this time. But I do like to go to New York again at some point the next year. But yeah, it was a great trip. I had a great time. I'm trying to figure out anything else I forgot. I miss the city. I do even right now, but man, I miss my kids. I really by day 2, I was really missing my kids. I was like, man, I miss Eli and Logan. I get back to these guys, and we got back home. They were excited to see us, and we hung out last night, and today we're hanging out today for a little bit. But yeah, that's it for me on the trip. Like I said, it was a great trip. Some things I wish I could have done, but otherwise, but at the same time, it gives opportunity to do this again in the future. Yeah, so that was my trip in a nutshell. I know I sound kind of sporadic all over the place, but I'm trying to remember what I did and didn't do. And again, we crammed so much. We crammed so much on this trip that it's easy to forget things you did. Also, one thing I want to say before I get out of here, which is complete bullshit. Floridians sitting there and say how, like, New Yorkers can't drive. New Yorkers are the craziest drivers ever. They can't drive. I think that's horseshit. Let me tell you why. With all the chaos that goes on in New York and congestion in New York, I didn't see one car accident there. Not one in 4 days there. I can travel 5 miles to my job every day, and I see at least 2 accidents. And mind you, in Florida, there's no chaos. There's no like all these like congestion and all the roads are smooth. There's no chaos. It's just drive. And yet I see more accidents in Florida than New York, where New York is more chaos. And you would think that being in that environment, you're more susceptible to getting in a car accident in New York. No, I didn't see. I swear to you, I did not see one car accident in New York. Do not tell me at all that Florida drivers are better than New York drivers. That is fucking horseshit. Okay? Fucking horseshit. Okay? Because Florida drivers, again, have an easier path to drive, and yet they get more accidents. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. Also, when you're 45 and you're older and you see more things broadly, never noticed this stuff too also. There aren't many overweight people in New York either. For all the walking they do, that's why. I didn't see many overweight people in New York at all. In comparison to anywhere else. Because in Florida. And look, I'm not making about Florida, New York thing and who's better or not. I don't care. I'm born in New York. I'm raised here. I love both places, okay? For different reasons. But I've noticed that being in New York, you don't see many overweight people there in comparison to anywhere else because you're always on the move. I want to do a study on that. I actually would like to. I was telling somebody yesterday, my buddy Nathan. I'd like to go do like a study one day and see the amount of diabetes and whatnot, the percentage of people with diabetes that live in the city in comparison to everywhere else. Because it might still be a high number because of the fact that it's more density, but in comparison to other states and cities, it's probably comparable, if not lower. I don't know. I come back here now feeling much more energized and appreciative of New York, but also missing Florida. And like I said, I want to start traveling more. I know my wife and I told my wife that I'm looking to go to Vegas next year to see Metallica at the Sphere once they announce that show, hopefully next fall. But I told her I would like to do trips like this more often, especially in New York. Like I always love New York, but because I'm born there, and I've been there so many times, it doesn't really resonate with me the same way. It doesn't really hit me. But I haven't been there in 10 years. And going with my wife and being able to actually spend time, because the last couple times I've gone to New York, in the last like 15, 20 years, I've gone for maybe 2 days the most. This day we went 4 days, and we were able to sit and actually experience things in ways. So that's why I would like to do this again next year with her. But again, thanks to everybody involved in this, in making this possible. All my friends who took care of our kids, our fur babies, our friends who came with us to New York. Lauren, Fed, Matt, of course, Teddy came, his wife Jen, and of course Patrick surprised me there. Had a great time. The only bad thing on this trip that there are a lot of friends of mine who people on the podcast, especially Matthew Allen and Josh was trying to go. They unfortunately Josh Jacobs and I couldn't get together unfortunately because of schedules. Matthew Allen was out of town. Mark Francois was out of town. I couldn't get a chance to get a hold of Danny Blanco. But so maybe next time when I go up there, we'll try to get a hold of these guys and try to get to beat them and hang out with them. But otherwise, great trip. Had a great time, and I'm glad to be home though. So anyway, I'm gonna get some rest now. Go watch some Clash of Paris. We'll have another podcast for you tomorrow on Tuesday, a regular podcast. So I'm on X at EJ7. Podcast